that could very well save humanity as we know it. This is Libby's Movie Hunt. And now, your host, Libby Hunt.
Hello, welcome to Libby's Movie Hunt. I'm your host, Libby Hunt, along with my producer, Kevin E.
Hey, Libby, how are you?
And we're in the studio with John Wildman and Lee Peppert from the Dallas International Film Festival. Well, actually, the Dallas International Film Festival is a presentation of the Dallas Film Society, right? Which, Lee,
right.
You're a part of.
I am a part of.
Well,
you're
CEO.
Day of the year. I'm the CEO. I
Yeah.
have the honor of leading this group, trying to raise the bar for film in Dallas.
Right. So you are the president of,
Yes.
And then you are, John, the publicist for the Dallas International Film Festival.
Yes, I'm the publicist and kind of overall consultant. And
I see you everywhere. I see you both everywhere.
He's our guru.
And then what is James Faust's position?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out. No, I'm kidding. James is great. James is our artistic director.
Artistic. Okay.
He's the artistic guy, the creative guy, whose role and responsibility is to help us kind of create the festival, find the
He
program.
puts that amazing program together.
He does.
Yeah.
When I met James, I said, you look like the person that should be an artistic director for the festival. Or, doesn't he look the part?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
I think he does. He's cool looking. You're cool looking, James. We think you're a handsome guy. I mean, you two guys are too. Thank y'all for being here. This is so fun for me because my favorite, and Kevin I think agrees with me,
Yes.
that independent films are our favorite kind of movies.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Yes. I spend every week at the Angelica or Magnolia. They should really just give me a free pass. I'm literally there 3 times a week.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we want to hear.
I go. Exactly. I mean, I love every single kind of film.
You
Except
practically do PR for them.
I do. I
By
really do. I
different
talk about
dimensions.
them every week. I need to know those people. But Kevin, we do like blockbusters and mainstream movie. Kevin really likes sci-fi.
I do.
But I love independent. That's my love. So I want to hear more about the festival. I read that Movie Maker magazine said it's one of the 25 coolest film festivals there is.
Easily.
But you know what? I would say it's like maybe in the top 5 or 10. I wouldn't say the top 25.
I completely agree with Movie Maker, and I completely agree with you, Libby.
No, I mean, I think, because I've been to quite a few film festivals, and I think this film festival's right up there with the top 5.
I represent a dozen different film festivals across
Mm-hmm.
the country. I used to work at Lincoln Center with the New York Film Festival and American Film Institute before that. And this has always been one of my favorite fests, and I was fortunate enough to be here from the very beginning and then left and came back. And so I'm steeped in the rich history, this being our 11th year. But it is easily one of the most fun festivals. And also, we're talking about James Faust, programming-wise, it's a great festival because you have these wonderful populist, what I call popcorn movies, and then you also have these great kind of broccoli movies, as I put them. The movies that you should watch because they're good for you. The festival has a great mix.
Oh, that's a good way to put that. That's going to be one of my new things to say. Kevin, write that down.
Yes, we need to be
Broccoli.
used. Yeah, put that in the
why
rotation.
that's funny to me is because I don't know if you've, I think you said I've watched my show. My rating system is Oscar-worthy, popcorn-worthy, half-popped, and bag full of kernels. We're going to put
That plays right into it.
broccoli.
I like it.
Isn't that cute?
Probably be the only way I get some broccoli in my system.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So the festival, do you screen them with James? I mean, to get the choices before to make
Well, here's the interesting thing, and we travel to a lot of different festivals. Obviously, many that I represent, but other ones like the Cannes Film Festival in Toronto, Sundance, South by Southwest. Lee also makes those trips with us oftentimes, and we are always comparing notes. Because you have so many films at a festival, one person cannot see them all,
Exactly.
and we are always tipping each other off and going, you need to check this one out, and and so that happens a lot. James is obviously leading that charge, but like I'm a huge genre fan, sci-fi and horror and whatever, and James will come to me and go, well, what's up? What is seriously I need to pay attention to? Sarah Harris, who manages the documentary side of things for the most part, is always on that. Lee will come in with a film that he just knows people love. He will watch a film and say, I know people will love this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed you're doing some old films. Like last night, you premiered Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes, we did.
With Faye Dunaway was there, and she got an award.
One of my favorites.
So have y'all always put in old movies like, because I was looking over the schedule, and you have some old movies kind of sprinkled throughout the festival. Is that always a thing?
Well, we try to have a unique topic every year. We might focus on the films of a certain country or the films that we've shown over the course of 10 years when we celebrated our 10th year last year.
Right.
This year, the theme is 1967.
Okay.
And if you look back 50 years ago at the films that came out in 1967, it's one of the greatest years in film history. And you think about some of the movies that came out that year, Bonnie and Clyde,
The Graduate,
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Camelot, the
You're right.
original Jungle Book. Sidney Poitier had a great year that year. Guess Who's
He
Coming to Dinner,
had 3 films.
To Sir with Love, and
In
In the Heat of the Night.
Heat of the Night.
So are you showing some of those?
We are showing
Yes,
Guess
we
Who's
are.
Coming to Dinner. And what's
That's
great
what I
about
thought.
that is we have Katherine Houghton here, who was one of the stars.
And she's
with him.
Katharine Hepburn's niece.
Yes.
Which
yes.
I never knew. And
Yeah.
why didn't we ever see her in anything else after that? She's a great actress.
She did do some things afterwards.
Plays.
Yeah, she did a lot of theater. She was much more of a theater actress. And it's funny because when we reached out to her to ask if she would love to come here as a guest, she said it's amazing because she has had kind of like a rebirth and really started doing a lot of things. And so it was fortunate that we were able to get her to be here. But that'll be a great night.
It'll be so. I'm coming to that.
So tomorrow she'll be here. We're just going to screen the movie. She's going to talk about the movie afterwards, and we're thrilled that she's joining us.
Yeah.
Well, that was so fun to have Faye Dunaway last night. I mean, a living legend.
Yes, that was fun.
So fun. And she, the guy who wrote Bonnie and Clyde,
Robert Benton.
He was there
one of the
too.
co-writers.
He
was.
Absolutely.
So fun, so fun. How is it meeting all these celebrities over the years? I mean, is that so much fun?
I will say, for one, the inner fanboy in me just
Yes.
totally geeks out, and I have to keep telling them to play it cool, play it
cool.
coolly.
Yes.
You're the guy who runs a film festival.
Right.
Don't get this idiotic, sheepish grin on your face. But I can't help it. It always does. It always happens. It's so nice to meet you. That comes out. And
I got to ask, if you had to pick one, who's the most
the first
who
time
are you most starstruck by?
So this film festival, I've been doing this for now my sixth festival, so 6 years. But the first big thing I kind of did, Val Kilmer was in town, and I mean it's Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Yes.
and
It's great.
So we picked him up at the airport, and so I went and met him at the hotel, and you recognize him coming in, and I'm like, that's Val Kilmer. He's right there. And I'm like, good afternoon, Mr. Kilmer. It's really nice to meet you, and thank you. And he's like, who are you? But that was the first one, and that was very exciting for me, just to kind of my indoctrination into this world. And
That's so much
It's
fun.
been so much fun meeting so many unique people, and it's just such an honor to be able to talk film with them.
Well, just not even the famous people. The actors that are in it. Yeah, some
The independent filmmakers,
The
the
filmmakers.
directors, and the actors that are putting their passion and their love into this art form, this art that they love so much. You don't do it just to do it.
It's
You do
not
it 'cause
glamorous.
You love it, and that passion is what's so exciting, and why independent filmmaking for me is so exciting to talk to these folks, because you can't not get excited talking to these folks.
It's
know.
interesting. I've had everyone from Denzel Washington, people like that on my red carpets. But the only time that I actually kind of get fumble-mouthed or, I have those awkward moments are with independent filmmakers. Someone that I've seen their film before anybody else has seen them, and I get so excited by that person. And I've had this happen, like when I'd be at Sundance waiting to pick up my luggage with the carousel, and somebody with it, and I know nobody else has seen their movie, and I'm so excited that I have to calm myself down to talk to them, because I really am a true believer, as we've talked, even in the short time that we've known each other, about independent movies. And I have those geek out moments about them, because I can't wait to introduce everybody to them.
and get to know them and hope they see their art. I know. I went to college for theater and radio and television, did some acting after college, and I picked this back up around age 50. Shouldn't be telling my age. But I love this community in Dallas. Everybody is so in the film biz. I've produced some things and acted in some things, but it's so nice. I think it's different than LA or New York as far as the scene here, the Texas scene. Everybody really wants to help each other. Well, maybe that's Texas hospitality too.
The climate is a little different.
The climate.
And the hospitality, that's the
Yeah.
word behind it. There's a joy, a love here, a desire to show off the city and embrace what we're doing with film and to celebrate not only just the art form but Dallas and film and
Texas.
the hospitality of Texas.
Right. We're
I-
just
it's- my wife
everybody's
and
so
I my wife and I shot our film here,
Yeah.
and we were living in Los Angeles at the time. And the reason we did so because I said, we were making an independent film. And I said, we need to have help to make this. And the spirit here is that, in LA or New York, whatever, people, they're professionals and they'll be, well, good luck with that. And they're out and they're done.
And everybody's here
But
helpful.
here, everyone's like, I made some muffins for your crew, or, do you need to, screen your dailies on my living room wall? Because they want to be part of something. They want to see it. They want to see it to completion. And that spirit is one of the wonderful things about Dallas, about filmmaking. We have amazing filmmaking infrastructure here, some fantastic behind the scenes and behind the camera artists, as well as great actors
We really
and
do.
actresses here.
Yeah.
It
the
it's
the talent
awesome.
pool's great here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you're not a Texan
I am not. I'm not.
originally? You are now.
I'm adopted.
Yeah, but Lee is. You'll take it.
Yes, I am.
I met Reese Witherspoon recently. She was opening her store, Draper James, in Highland Park Village, and she said to me, she has gotten hugged more in 24 hours in Dallas than she has in 20 years in LA. And I thought that was cute because, we're huggers and we're friendly and it's just a great deal. But Texas, I hope we can work on our tax incentives too so we can get, all that.
It's an amazing thing because it's simple mathematics that there is such a high return no matter how you look at it, no matter how you break it down, with the incentives and what it does financially, whether it becomes tax income or whether it becomes just income in people who live here and work here, restaurant owners and hotel, workers and what have you. And it's just simple as that. And yes, it's something that we'll continue to fight and continue to look at. Bomb City is a very good example of that, of a film that really needed that kind of support, and that's what will keep things here.
Bomb City is the movie I helped produce, have a little part in. It's so good. Yeah, and getting to use, I was watching the credits when I saw a screening of it the other day, and I thought, they use Good Food Catering, a friend of mine's catering company. It's putting people in business in our community, our friends and our colleagues, and,
Well, the return on investment in the film industry is a remarkable one. So for every dollar that they spend in Dallas, let's say, and I should know the multiple and I don't, but it's 4.5, 5 times, 6 times, something like that.
For tax dollars, it's 2 to 1 return. For real dollars, 5 to 1 return.
So and it's a much better investment than some of the other things that are being incentivized in the state. So that's why we're such proponents for it. And it is not just a handout to wealthy people. It's not just a rebate. It's not just our community and the state, and that's why the tax incentives are vital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether you're talking about, as you're saying, your friends that catered and provided craft services, food, it's truck drivers, it's extras, it's makeup people, it's lighting, it's electricians. People do. They try to say, well, you're giving money to millionaires and actors, and they try to create this picture of people in fancy honey wagons and things. That's not the case.
Not at all.
No, not at all. These are people that are working literally 10 to 12-hour days to make a movie happen.
No, it is. When I've been on these sets, I just am amazed how hard everybody works. Just they basically don't sleep.
And we have a number of films in the festival this year that are from that, that are movies, that were not multi-million-dollar pictures. These are pictures, that were made, some in like the tens of thousands of dollars, and wonderful artistic works, but they're done on a very real, independent level. Again, the kind of movies that we love here on this show. But they're movies that had to be made. These are not corporate movies, that are made to sell us candy or to sell us, cereal or what have you. No, these are movies that someone said, I need to make this movie, so I'm willing to, put all this on my credit card. I'm willing to spend all my uncle's money, whatever, however much to make that movie, and you see that love on the screen.
I love that. No, I think I've talked about this on the show before. I think the movie is it's like a miracle that it gets made from the beginning to the end. You can't even believe it. Like how long it takes. It takes sometimes 11 years, 4 years, 20 years. You're just how it finally comes together, and that people just do that.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What is your background, Lee? Both of y'all, did you go to film? I saw you went to Booker T.
Well, no, actually, I
here?
went to St. Mark's.
Oh,
so I grew up.
Are you went to one of y'all? No.
I grew up here in Dallas.
You went to St. Mark's.
I went and I've worked in the arts world of Dallas for the last 17 and a half years. I've been in arts management at a couple of different organizations.
But you're a film lover.
But
obviously.
I'm a film lover, always have been. I wasn't necessarily hired to, plan the festival or program the festival or anything like that. I always laugh. In my job interview process, James, the artistic director, says, well, how do you see your role on the artistic side of things? I'm like, James, you're the artistic director, artistically direct. That's not my job. I'm just trying to get you the money so you can do your job.
Right.
But I've been in arts management for 17 and a half years in Dallas, and I've been with the Film Festival now, or the Film Society, since since when did I start? 2000, the end of 2011.
Like 9 years.
6 years.
And you've
almost
been here
6 years.
about same amount of time, right, John?
When the festival was AFI Dallas, I
Oh, that's
I
right.
came
You used
here.
to have a different name.
I was here originally with that, and then it made the transition to be the Dallas International Film Festival. So I was here for the first 5 years, and then have been in New York for 5 years, and then back.
You're back. Well, we're glad you're back.
back. It's nice to be back.
The Dallas Film Society, they do other things like educational things, programming
right.
throughout the year.
Yes.
Tell us about some of those things that go on during the year.
So the Film Society's mission is to champion the art of film, and we do that in a variety of ways. Obviously, we produce the Dallas International Film Festival, which is the biggest thing. But we
Exactly.
do have an education program for high school kids where we create sessions, breakout sessions, seminars, talking about film or different aspects of the film industry with high school kids throughout the community. And they might learn something about production. They might learn screenwriting. They might learn how to cast a film. They might be taught about the science and math behind projection. We've done script-to-screen seminars with a director and a cinematographer talking about how they took what was on paper and put it up on screen and showed samples of here's this shot and here's this shot and why did we do it this way. And so the goal is trying to give them opportunities to understand the industry from all aspects and not just directing or
And where do you
acting.
put on these things that you do?
We work with film partners throughout the community. It might be at the Studio Movie Grill. It might be at the Angelica Theater. It might be at Real FX Animation House. We might go do a tour there and then meet with some of their directors and animators. It might just be, in a classroom somewhere. We just
neat.
did a recent one over at Mercury One Studios, and they got to see some of the production facilities going on over there.
so how do you get your funding?
Through a variety of ways, we try to raise funding through sponsorships from corporations that want to get involved in the film festival, where they get nice exposure. We have there's a membership program where people invest in the organization as a member at different levels, and in return, they're invited to different things or get access to different things in the film industry that we provide. We write grants just like any other nonprofit organization, and the Film Society is a nonprofit.
That's what I was wondering if it was. Yeah. Because I have some ideas for you. We'll talk after the show.
Well, I would love that
nonprofit.
because
I've done a lot of
we
fundraising,
have
so-
lots of opportunities for people to get involved on the
Yeah.
funding side of things.
That's so neat. Because see, this is new to me. Reading about y'all, I really didn't understand how the two were connected, and so this is interesting.
So
to me.
the Film Society is the overarching nonprofit, and the Film Festival is one of the events that we produce. And then we do things for members. We have screenings. We do preview screenings of movies before they come out to the public. We have special series that we coordinate. There's one great one that we coordinate with Chris Wagner and the Dallas Morning News, where we delve deep into a theme every year, and over the course of 6 months, look at 6 different movies that are looking into that theme. So there's a variety of things we do throughout the year, but it's all tied to movies.
Yeah, I think I saw that and I wanted to go. Could have I gone? I thought that sounded interesting.
Members of the Film Society are invited every time.
I need to
so
join.
there
Or
you
maybe
go.
I may be a member.
I
don't
like
know.
it. That's why aren't you a member,
I need
Libby?
Chris, though, I love his reviews, but Kevin and I have talked about this before. Why I wanted to do a show is because I love to read a beautiful review like he does in the paper, but I just want to tell you if it's popcorn worthy or not. I would get calls every week from people going, what should I go see? And I'm like, I'm going to just start talking about it because I've always gone to see everything. It's my hobby. You know, I mean, it's like some of my friends shop or play tennis or whatever, and when my kids were napping or whatever, I'd grab a babysitter and I'd go to a movie, you know, when they were young. So might as well talk about it.
I think people just like to be spoon-fed content these days. You
Yeah.
know, it takes a lot more time to read a review than just pop over to Rotten Tomatoes and see what the score
Well,
is.
this is something.
So that's why, you get a little bit more in depth, but we're still giving you just the overall.
Just the overall, if you should go or not. If it's, but
Well,
we,
I do the same thing on my, because I cover other film festivals as press for my site festworks.com, and I'm a film advocate. And it's funny, I was talking to another reviewer on my site, and I said, our job is not to trash movies and whatever, because I'm a filmmaker myself. That's not our job. What our job is to help you and you and you find the movie that you'll really love. And I say, that doesn't mean we're going to review everything, but what we're going to do is you say, I want to see a comedy. Well, you go, well, a comedy could be Talladega Nights, or a comedy could be Dr. Strangelove. Those are two vastly different films, but they're both comedies. So I need to find that out about you so I can help you sit down in the right seat.
That is so, you put that so well. That's so true, because people are like, well, Libby, you're a movie critic. You need to be criticizing movies. And I said, I don't want to criticize really any movies.
We don't need to pick it apart.
I mean, I have given very few ratings, Bag Full of Kernels. I mean, very few movies.
That's true.
I love just about everything.
Well, I've watched you two banter back and forth,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Because
Yeah.
you go, that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We come out of a movie and we go, I love that. And you go, I don't know.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and then that is how, then we watch that and we go, you know something? I'm kind of with him. Or, you know
Exactly.
something? I'm with Libby on this one. And,
I know.
and then I'll go see that movie.
I know, it's fun. One thing, I think I talked about one of y'all when I ran into you the other night, I love about independent film, and I've talked about this on the show, I love that Moonlight won, because it was only made for $1.2 million, I believe. I mean, when all the other stuff, maybe they spent $5 million when it was all said and done. But compared to, La La Land, what are we talking, hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah.
Which I love La La Land, but I love that an independent film won the Oscar. That makes me, it's so happy for
Well, again,
independent film.
that is a perfect example of a movie that had to be made by that filmmaker.
Yes.
He had to get that story out. And this is a guy who literally took tickets at the Telluride Film Festival. Before he made Medicine for Melancholy. His first kind of big breakthrough independent film. So this is a guy like us that loved film so much that he was working within a film festival system, taking tickets.
Exactly.
And so so this is a movie that he needed to get out of his system. And yes, and it's wonderful that it's gotten all the accolades.
And speaking of both of those movies, actually, Dallas Film Society members were invited to see them prior to them going into the theaters.
That's
so
the genius of being a member.
there you go.
Okay. But okay, so here's the little guide, and the festivals this week. What are y'all really wanting to see? What have you seen? I mean, is there something you want to tell us about that?
Well, I want to go see Trophy.
Trophy.
Trophy
Oh,
plays
my goodness.
Trophy
What's it
plays
about?
this weekend. It's a documentary film.
I love documentaries.
It's a doc, and it's a fair-handed, even-handed look at the business that is big game hunting, which for some is obviously very controversial.
Right.
But it looks at both sides, and what it tells the side of conservation. It tells the side of what it means from business for some of these countries and some of these states where it is a big deal. But it looks at the whole side of this issue. It's absolutely fascinating. It's a great movie. It's incredibly well made, and people should watch it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
A couple indies. There's a movie called Cortez, which is a wonderful relationship film made by a husband and wife team. She directs. He wrote, I think they actually co-wrote, they both star in it, about kind of a ne'er-do-well musician on the cusp of a lot of fame who decides to take time off of his tour to look up an old flame, and then decides he wants to ingratiate himself into her family, to disastrous results for everyone. So it's funny, but it's also biting.
Does
Can't
it have
recommend it
anybody
enough.
in it that we know?
It was actually has Cassidy Freeman, who's also the producer, who's star of the Longmire series, and Smallville. before that. So people will know her from TV, and so she's in it. And Cheryl Nichols, who is the director and star in it, was also from Little Elm. So she's a local girl coming back. So that's a great one. Gook is another magnificent film.
Great movie.
Yeah, this one's set during the just prior to the Rodney King riots in L.A. about a couple of Korean American brothers who have a shoe store, and they're not literally, but kind of adoptive little African American girl who is kind of under their wing, and a lot of tragedy happens, and they have to overcome some things right as these riots break out. But it's so artfully and beautifully shot, as well as being kind of just getting in your gut. Can't highly recommend that.
That looks good. I saw it at Sundance. I see that y'all are putting it too. Is the Berlin Syndrome?
Oh boy,
Wasn't that
oh
good?
boy.
Movie.
You know.
I'm glad y'all
I was
have
talking
that.
to somebody about that about that just last night, and I said, listen, we've seen films where, in this case, a couple gets together, a young woman meets an expat. Meets a German man. They have a relationship. She goes to sleep, wakes up the next morning, and you go, oh, I guess he didn't leave the keys, and so I'm kind of locked in the place, and discovers, oh no, he didn't accidentally not leave the keys. You're locked in.
It's good. But Kevin, you'd like it.
And that's,
I like the sound of that.
And that's just
It's
the
creepy.
setup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a psychological, just mind-bending thing. It's the two of them.
Yeah, I just got chills thinking about it. It was
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's right up our alley.
Yeah,
The
we
Berlin
like it.
Syndrome, definitely.
I like creepy movies. I don't know
Me
what that
too.
says
Oh,
about me.
and Kevin, The Void.
Oh yeah.
The Void.
Don't you want to talk about creepy?
The Thing meets Hellraiser.
Oh, I love
The
that.
Thing is one of your favorite
Oh,
movies.
one of my all-time favorites.
That-
John
that-
Carpenter's
That's all I'm
there.
going to tell you.
deserved.
That's all I'm going to tell you. The
I
Void.
love that.
You've got to see that at midnight. Yes.
So fun. Are y'all? So this week y'all are just running around. You're not even going to be able to see the movies because you're greeting people.
It's tough. It's tough.
Somebody asked me the other day, how many movies will you see this week?
Yeah.
And I said, if I'm lucky, 3.
Exactly.
And I'll see some before. I've seen a lot before, and I'll see a lot
Exactly.
afterwards. But, our job is to make the presentation a positive experience for everyone that comes.
Yes.
So we work really hard to make that happen, to ensure that the picture looks great on screen, that the process of getting in and everything
we only
looks
have a
well.
minute.
We want
Yeah.
everyone to have a great time here. So that's what we're trying to do.
Well, what's so fun about the festivals is that the stars and actors that are here with the film, even if they're not famous or not, they're actor. I mean, there could be. They stand up and talk about the film, which is so fun.
That's
Yes.
the amazing thing. And I
Yeah.
have to just put a quick plug in. Before I Fall. It's a film that's out,
Yes.
but this is a free screening, and our Dallas Shining Star honoree, Zoe Deutsch, who's the star of this film and also happens to be the daughter of Leah Thompson, she will be here, and she and I will talk about her career and the movie afterwards. It's such a rare thing to be able to see that.
That's fun. That's my favorite part of festivals is seeing that. Well, I think we're back. Has it been 30 minutes?
It has been 30 minutes.
It has been too
that
much
was a
fun.
quick 30.
It was too much fun.
I could talk to y'all for hours. Will
Let's
you
do
come back?
it.
You're come back next week, before, and we'll talk about the end of the festival.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I guess we're out, and thanks for tuning in, and go enjoy the movies.